Welcome back to the Body Composition Coach podcast. I'm coming to you from my new office again, and yes, there are still boxes behind the camera that I haven't fixed yet, but I will get there to sorting out the podcast studio and bringing you a more professional setup. But look, today's episode I want to get stuck into straight away. Before I do that, just give me a quick 5-star review. Let me know what you think of the podcast. Drop me a comment. Like I've said every single time, thousands of you listen, tens of you have left a review. Let me know your thoughts. It really does go a long way to helping me get this podcast out to more and more people. But look, let's get stuck straight in because there is a very, very important subject that I want to talk about that, to be honest with you, might sound a little bit harsh and a little bit of a hard line. But I do think, having done this for a very long time now, it is something that most people need to hear. And that is that achieving an exceptional result is going to require a high level of discomfort. Now, there is a line, and I'm going to talk to you about it. But if you think you are going to achieve fat loss, muscle building, a cool performance-based goal, I don't know, do a high rocks or a half marathon or Ironman or any kind of performance-based goal like that, or just lose body fat or build muscle. If you think you're going to do any of that stuff without tolerating a reasonable level of discomfort, you've been strongly misled. Let's put it that way. Now, I see it all the time, right? And I think one of the problems here is modern life has removed friction generally from our lives. And a great example of this is if I wanted some food now, if I forgot to get my food out of the freezer, which I've just realized I have, if I forgot to get my food out of the freezer, I could just order Uber Eats or Deliveroo, and I could have solved that problem in half an hour. A healthy or, whatever food I want, actually, it doesn't even have to be healthy. I could have that at my door in half an hour. The same thing with Amazon. You can get same day delivery. If I realize that my laptop charger is broken, I can just order one on Amazon. I can have it here by 10 p.m. tonight, no problem. Or first thing in the morning, no issue at all. If I decide I need to do a food shop, I'm just looking out my office window now and I can see Aldi over there. I can go and do a full food shop at the end of my street in, again, less than 10 minutes probably. So you can see here that modern life generally is set up for convenience everywhere. Things are convenient. Things are on your doorstep. Things are being brought to your doorstep, which just constantly feeds into a level of instant gratification. We're instantly gratified because whatever it is we need, we can get hold of very, very quickly. But what that also creates is low tolerance of discomfort. We have a very low tolerance of discomfort. We want everything to be convenient and available and comfortable and lacking friction at all times. I mean, businesses generally are set up to be efficient and effortless and frictionless, and that's how they kind of operate, and they become very, very successful. And it's kind of the same with fitness coaching or coaching in general. Often what they promise people is an effortless, efficient, frictionless, discomfortless service that is just going to make fat loss and muscle building or achieving a goal of some sort just this easy thing to do. And I think I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. And you might be like, Jono, what are you doing? Why would you say that? Surely promising people a lack of, less discomfort and making their life easy and frictionless is the way to go. And yeah, that would probably get me more inquiries. That would probably get more people wanting to join and throw money at me to work with me. But it wouldn't get me better results because every single one of those person would come in misled and lacking an understanding of what it was actually going to take to achieve the result they want, and they'd fall out the back door very, very quickly. It wouldn't help me to help them, and it wouldn't help me with my business, but it also wouldn't help them to achieve the result they want. If people think that there is a way of removing all discomfort, then they are in for a very, very long ride. A great example of this actually is hunger. There will always be, if you're dieting, if you're trying to lose body fat, there will always be a level of hunger, and that is discomfort, right? And it's not that you can't do anything to make that better in terms of the type of food you eat and the way you fuel and your meal timing and all of that. but it will still be there. There will still be times when you're in a fat loss phase that you are hungry. And that is simply because you are giving your body less than it needs to survive for a small period of time so that you lose body fat. Now, there is a line, and that is that you shouldn't be absolutely starving all the time, but you are going to have to tolerate a level of hunger if you are in a fat loss phase. And this is what annoys me about the industry. You will be sold a dream of like a hack, let's say, or a tweak that you can make that's going to make you feel full all the time, and you're never going to be hungry, and you shouldn't be hungry, and if you follow this, I don't know, salad recipe that the influencer makes, you're never going to be hungry on a fat loss journey. Let me tell you, you are. Let me tell you the reality. You will be hungry. If you want any level of decent fat loss, you will be hungry at times, and you are going to have to get used to sitting in the discomfort. The same thing goes for building muscle, for example. Again, most of the women who come here and work with me will go through a build phase, and they'll build some significant muscle because that is ultimately the key to them getting that tone-defined appearance that we're known for. Now, to go through that phase, there will be times where they have to eat more than they really feel comfortable eating. They might have to get a little bit like what we call fluffy, where they're holding a bit of water or a little bit of extra body fat. But it's for the greater good, because long-term it's going to help them. But they're going to have to get into that level of discomfort, and they're going to need to stay there for a little while. It's not going to be easy. And that is my message to you today. There is no way of making this whole journey completely effortless, frictionless, and easy. You will have to learn to sit in the discomfort of fat loss, of muscle building, of fitness in some way if you're going to achieve a result. If anyone promises you they can help you achieve a result, but with a completely effortless and frictionless service, they are lying to you. So you might be asking now, well, Jono, how do you get the result then? Is it just that people have to get really uncomfortable and be good at that? Well, no, not particularly. Of course, there are things you can do to make hunger slightly better, to make energy levels better, to remove some tiredness from training, for example. Does that mean that my clients don't still have to train when they're a little bit tired? Yeah, they do. Does that mean that they have to stick to their nutrition even when they're a little bit hungry? Yeah, like that's part of it. And that's part of being a good coach. It's being honest about that and being supportive with that discomfort. While your client is in that discomfort, it is showing up, being supportive, and holding them accountable to it. Now, look, there is of course a line. And discomfort doesn't mean that you should be extremely starving all the time. It doesn't mean that you should be really tired and run down and train anyway. It doesn't mean that. Like, there is a line, and again, good coaching can draw that line for a client and be like, listen, do you know what? I know you're a bit tired, but you're going to have to go and train today. Just go and get it done. Or, do you know what? Actually, you are fatigued, you are run down, and your health markers are showing us this. So therefore, I want you to take a day off today. Take a step back. And it's just knowing when to do that and when not to do that. But I think the thing that's really important, and the message that's so important to get across, is you don't join a coach because they're going to give you some answer to something which makes it completely frictionless, effortless, and easy. What you do is hire a coach so they hold you accountable to doing the hard work, to sitting in the discomfort, to allowing some friction and rolling with it. Like, that is part of any kind of journey. Challenge isn't unsustainable. Challenge is sustainable, but the understanding of challenge being a consistent thing that you have to work against in different areas of your life, that's the sustainability of it. Not that you shouldn't feel challenge for it to be sustainable. And look, I'll be completely honest, and I think this is where most people go wrong. They go into a journey like this, and not even so much with coaching, just like fat loss in general. They go into a journey like this and they think, do you know what? If I'm at all hungry on an evening, I've got any kind of craving, I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's just too uncomfortable. I'm just going to have to like give into it. That's why people don't succeed. Like, ultimately, you are going to have to sit in the discomfort. What do I say? Marinate in the discomfort. That's what I say to my clients. You're going to have to marinate in the discomfort at some point. That's not starvation. That's not burning out. That's not overtraining. It's understanding where the line sits, but you will have to be uncomfortable. You will have to tolerate a level of discomfort no matter what it is you're trying to achieve. So listen, hopefully that message has been helpful. Hopefully that message has maybe given you what you needed to hear rather than just what you wanted to hear. But look, if you're enjoying the podcast, as always, just drop me a 5-star review. Just let me know. Let me know your comments. Like, do you agree with what I've said today? And if you don't, let me know why. I'd be interested to hear. And look, if you need somebody to hold you accountable, to make sure you do the things that are uncomfortable, to get you the result that you know you need a level of discomfort to achieve, all you have to do is reach out. Drop us a message. Best place to get me is on Instagram, at Body Composition Coach. Drop me a message on there. Let me know, Jono, do you know what? I listened to your podcast on discomfort, and you're right. I do need to be held to account. I do need to get used to being a little bit uncomfortable and see this through and see this result through. And I want some help. You can find me there. But look, for now, I'll see you on the next one.